It's no secret that Call of Duty is overall not doing as well as it has in the past. Sales are down, player counts are down, and fatigue has definitely set in. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what I, a passionate fan of Call of Duty since 2005, would do to fix the game. First, I want to say that obviously I have zero game dev experience. So if you're a dev watching this, just know that I know I'm kind of armchair deving, and I would absolutely love to chat, give feedback, learn more. But I'm just speaking as a passionate player who's been playing for a really long time and loves to help people get better and have more fun. I think before talking about solutions, we need to talk about like, what is the main problem? And just so you guys know, I am going to be reading off of a list. I wrote down a lot, and I'm just going to be reading off a list, so I just want to let you guys know that. I think when I was typing up ideas and just thinking about this video overall, thinking about what I would do to change the game, what are the problems with the game, really, I could come up with a bunch of things, but it all boils down to literally one word, and I think it's been echoed a lot this year, and it's fatigue. A lot of people are just tired of the way the game is being run and the way it's been run for the last 5 to 10 years. There's this yearly cycle that has always been in COD and will probably always be in COD, but I think it's worse because recently we've had back-to-back both Modern Warfare and Black Ops games, and next year we have, you know, Modern Warfare 4. So I think that while we've had the yearly releases, they've tried to put everything on the same engine. They've tried to put everything on the same storylines, and it's just getting very repetitive. And to someone that is more of a casual, like, I can tell the difference as someone who plays the game all the time. I can tell the differences in what they're doing, the different stories, the zombies. Like, I can sit here and rattle off a bunch of reasons why, like, MW3 and Black Ops 7 may have started out at DLCs at one point, but I don't think, like, as what they are now, I don't think they're DLCs. But to the casual person, which is, you know, 95% of the player base, that stuff is getting really, really, really old and repetitive. It just feels like the same game, the same movement, the same engine, the same storylines, all of the same decisions, the same menus. Like, I am somebody that uses private match all the time, and the private matches have literally just been copied with a different skin UI. Like, the settings are all the same bugs are all the same. Like, everything is running as if it was a copy-paste with a new skin. And I think that attributes to a lot of fatigue. And I think that Call of Duty in the past couple years has really leaned into nostalgia, especially if we look at just Modern Warfare 2, like Modern Warfare II, right, from 2022. That game, I heavily believe that that game sold as much as it did strictly because of the nostalgia bait of Modern Warfare 2. But that's more about Call of Duty as a whole and not necessarily Warzone. So what I want to talk about next is how every single integration, every single Warzone integration has been a mess, a disaster. No matter what it is, there is always problems going into the holiday. They go on a break, we get zero communication, zero fixes, the game is broken, we take 12 steps backwards, and we get nothing fixed for like the very first season. And I know there's probably a lot of devs and a lot of people that understand that that's a problem, but whoever is making these decisions, you are sacrificing months and months and months of work to rush something out 2 weeks early. If you just waited 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just wait till it's polished, you would have a much better reception overall for the entire year, because first impressions are everything. And when you put out a game that is really bad at the start, like for example in Caldera, console players literally couldn't even play the game. Right away, that just, the whole season, the whole year is chalked. The whole year of Warzone is chalked at that point, when you put that bad of a taste in everyone's mouth. Black Ops 6, the game was stuttery. Like, I could go on and on about how every single integration has just been a disaster. And it's honest, like, I don't care if I don't understand development, if I don't understand gaming, if I don't understand these things, I don't care. Borderline, like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but period. End of story. There is no excuse for how bad the game comes out. Like, Fortnite does not have this problem. You might be like, oh, Fortnite's on Unreal Engine, and what? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to put out a game, if you're going to make it a live service, if you're going to drop these updates and ask for $70 and $20 bundle, like, it doesn't matter. Like, period. It's got to stop. What's getting really fatiguing as someone who plays the game all the time is, like, we take one step forward, we get all these cool things, and then when the integration hits, we take three steps backwards. It's awful. And I'm actually really, really, really nervous about this going into Modern Warfare 4, because I'm assuming they're going to, like, based on rumors and everything, they're going to reset, they're going to set the slate clean again. Are we just going to have another Warzone 2.0 disaster? Because the people that made those decisions clearly had no understanding of what the player base actually wanted. Like, I remember being at COD Next, talking to devs, getting feedback, giving feedback. Like, not a single person at COD Next during Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2.0, not a single person thought that that was a good game. Everyone unanimously was like, people are going to hate this. Not just streamers, not just creators, not just people with a vested interest. Like, players are not going to like this. And I understand that, like, they had this vision with DMZ, and that they had this vision with Warzone 2.0, and I respect them sticking to their guns, but they were wrong. And so I'm really, really hoping that we don't run into this exact same issue where we just spent 4 years fixing all these problems, and then going into Modern Warfare 4, they're just gonna be like, y'all don't need any of that, and then we're gonna spend the next 4 years fighting them again to get things that we had for the last 10 years. To wrap up what the overall fatigue issue is, I also wrote corny skins. I think that has already been kind of addressed. That just gets old. Like, when I'm running around seeing American Dad and, you know, Teletubbies and just whatever it is, like, it's just annoying. It's fatiguing. It ruins immersion. Like, I'm not a super hardcore, like, Battlefield person or, like, Battle Dat. Like, it's just bad. Nobody wants to be playing a Modern Warfare game or a Black Ops game and see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or American Dad. The next point I wrote is every map is either old or dreary and colorless. So we're either getting remastered, like Fortune's Keep. Like, I love Fortune's Keep, but, like, we're either getting Fortune's Keep for a third time, or Rebirth for a second time, or Verdansk for a second time, or POIs for a second time, or we're getting Ashika Island where there's no colors. And I know that a lot of people like Ashika Island, but overall, my point is, like, we're either getting old stuff that we've already had, or maps that have literally zero life, zero colors, zero vibrance to them. Like, I don't want to sit and play gray, yellow. Like, video games are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be an experience. They're supposed to be an escape. I don't want to feel like I'm playing in black and white all the time. And I don't know what it is. I don't understand. Every single map Warzone has put out, besides Vondel, has just been this dreary gray, yellow, brown, like, it's just depressing to play. And I've given this feedback. I've seen tons of other creators give this feedback. I've seen players give this feedback. I don't understand where the disconnect is. Like, people don't want to feel depressed when they're playing video games. I get that, like, Call of Duty is a shooter and is semi-realistic, but, like, why doesn't that argue apply to the skins? Right? Like, you're willing to go super colorful and crazy and wacky with the skins, but not the maps. Like, I don't understand that. Especially, and a prime example is the Rebirth refresh. Everyone was expecting, like, cool, Black Ops 7, like, semi-futuristic, a little bit modern, like a cool, updated version of Rebirth in 2035 or whatever the setting is. And we're getting a dusting of snow. And it's going to be gray and white for the next however many months. Like, I also think that the lack of a story for everything has become very fatiguing, and I'm going to get into, you know, a lot of the details on all this stuff, but not having a story that connects you to the world is very fatiguing. It just feels like you're playing the game to just play the game. You don't feel connected, you don't feel anchored, you don't feel immersed, you don't feel like there's a community, there's a thing happening. The world doesn't feel live, right? I think the storytelling has honestly been, it's the first thing I'm going to talk about, and it's one of the most underrated things that I think we've lost, is good quality storytelling that connects you to the world, and it makes it to where you're not only playing a game, but you're playing a story. And the last thing, which is hopefully going to be fixed, is skill-based matchmaking. I think skill-based matchmaking is probably up there for one of the most fatiguing things I've ever experienced in a video game. It is the most fatiguing thing I've experienced in a video game. I know that as a, you know, top 1% statistically, like, KD player, that I get the brunt end of that, and I'm okay with that, but, like, it has gotten so out of control. It feels like I'm playing ranked all the time without a rank. And it is insane. I know everyone feels that way, and clearly they're making changes because they're reducing SPMM in Black Ops 7. They've already announced that they're reducing SPMM in Warzone. Like, clearly they understand that now. But why didn't we understand that? Why were we hiding behind data and research and summaries and papers a year or two ago, saying that the more we cranked up SPMM, the more retention we had? Like, humans over data. That's another thing I'm going to talk about later. But that is overall, like, the couple things that I thought about when it came to fatigue. I think a lot of COD's issues right now in this current time is fatigue. And I truly believe, like, if we go off of Warzone for a second, Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 7 are good games. The stories and the campaigns, not good. But like the overall bones of like multiplayer and zombies were really, really, really good. And it didn't matter. It doesn't matter because the perception of the game is that it's just a DLC. It's the same thing over and over again. Like you can make a good game, but if the perception of the game is bad, it doesn't matter. And overall, like no matter what COD does, no matter what Warzone does from here on out, if they don't address this fatigue issue, it's just going to continue to happen. So those are just the things that I came up with in 5 minutes. People are sick of the way things have just been repetitive and never getting fixed and never being addressed. Let's get into what I would do, humbly, respectfully, my solutions for how to fix this. The very first thing I wrote is storytelling. I think storytelling is extremely, extremely underrated. Like I said, it connects you to the world. It makes you feel like you're immersed. Think back to if you played Warzone during Modern Warfare 2019, Cold War. Yes, we were in lockdown. Yes, there were a lot of other variables that made the game fun. It was new. It was exciting. We're locked down. But like, one of my favorite things about Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone was the story. Like, everything in Verdansk felt like it had weight. It felt like there was a reason things were progressing. They clearly had an entire year's worth of story planned out for that game. And over the years, it's just become like, what are we even playing, right? Like if you look at now, Black Ops 7, I didn't touch the campaign because I saw clips. I usually play the campaign later in the cycle because I'm trying to level up weapons for Warzone, which is another topic we'll talk about. But the teaser for Black Ops 7 was that robot walking through the guild. And I was like, okay, like cool. This is, I can get with this story. It's a sequel to Black Ops 2. It's kind of the same thing where we get like, I was thinking it was going to be, you know, the guild is portrayed as the good guy, it ends up being the bad guy. We fight the robots. Like, it ends up being a dystopian world. And then I see clips on Twitter of, like, a zombie flower that's 500 feet tall. And it's like, the story... Where has the storytelling gone? Where has it gone? Modern Warfare 3's campaign was terrible. Black Ops 7's campaign, according to everyone else, is terrible. There is nothing that is connecting us to the world. There is nothing that is making everything make sense. The updates are just updates. There's no, like, progression of the story where, you know, Task Force 141 is working through Verdansk. They have to go to Rebirth Island, and now they have to come back to Verdansk. Oh, there's this nuke. We need to figure out this. Like, there is literally no reason that anything is happening, and it's just happening. They're just throwing things at you and being like, here, play this. I think story is really, really, really underrated. Yeah, so that's what I got for storytelling. I think the next thing I put is fix the integrations. Every single integration we've had since 2019, since Cold War, I remember every single integration. They have all broken the game. Borderline, like end of story, period. That needs to stop. I don't care what they need to do. If they need to delay the integration until the beginning of the year, the next year, like if the Black Ops 7 integration needs to be delayed until after they come back from holiday break, that's what needs to happen. Because like, pushing it out 2 weeks early is costing 9 months of the game. Like, people will clock out, check out. They'll go play Arc Raiders. They'll go play Battlefield. They'll go play GTA 6 when that comes out. Like, these integrations being terrible has to stop. The whole reason we went, I won't say the whole reason, but the reason we were told that we went to Warzone 2.0 was so that they could get away from the spaghetti code of like stacking all these games on top of each other when Modern Warfare 2019 wasn't meant to be built upon, right? The whole reason we went to Warzone 2.0 is we get this fresh start. Warzone can kind of be independent a little bit. They can add on to the game and not break it. But the game has been broken every single integration. And it wears everyone out. It turns everyone off. Yeah, bad updates fatigue more than anything. So the next thing, I won't touch on this one very long, but number 3 is going to be reduce SBMM. Variation is stimulation. When I'm playing the exact same players every single game, back to back to back to back, without disbanding lobbies, like I'm getting matched into Warzone lobbies with the exact same players all the time. And that's not because it's this time of year and there's nobody to play. It's because I'm getting thrown into this bracket of players where like there's only a very small pool of this, right? And I think that no matter what skill tier you're at, unless you're at the very bottom, like you're just constantly getting matched up against people that are either cheating your skill level or better than you. And it's fatiguing, right? Like I'm okay I'm okay to play that. Like, I'm not trying to, and I just want to say one thing. I'm not just trying to say this as a content creator. I genuinely say this as a player. Like, I'm okay playing against good players every once in a while. But I didn't sign up for the NFL. I didn't sign up for the NBA. This isn't a CDL league. I didn't sign up for this. When I queue into pubs, I want just a public experience, right? I want to play against sometimes really good players, sometimes really bad players. That's what makes the game fun, is you run into different kinds of players. You're not just dialed up to 11, frying your brain every single game. And that kind of touches a little bit on casual mode. And literally every single time I talk about casual mode, people get mad. But the only reason we need casual mode is because of skill-based matchmaking. That's all I'll say about that. The fourth point I put was to put humans before data. And I think that the biggest spotlight on this issue has been Battlefield versus COD. Battlefield did a lot of things that weren't in the data, but were based on like the average player's experience. How can we make the average player's experience better? Thinking about it from a psychology perspective, thinking about it from being a human playing a video game perspective, rather than making decisions on data. So the reason I say that is Battlefield talked about having very little or no SPMM, right? And COD a year or two ago released this really long 10-page essay, published study, peer-reviewed, about why skill-based matchmaking is good. And they pointed out all the data and said that when we cranked it up to the max, that like there was more retention. When you only look at how your game is being perceived through the lens of numbers and data and analytics, like, yes, that is part of the story. It can help inform decisions. It can help give you, valuable feedback points, but it's not everything. Like, you got to remember there are humans playing your game. And when you make decisions as a human, it's much more relatable and much more smooth to the playing experience than this super stringent, rigid algorithm that we're playing, right? Like, COD feels like, for the last 5 years, it literally feels like I'm playing an algorithm that is designed to milk retention and money. Whereas Battlefield, for example, is about fun. I wouldn't say their story is any better than COD, but it's about fun. It's about the experience. It's about playing with friends. COD has not been that. It's been how tight can we squeeze this player base? How much can we wring out the money out of them? How much milk can we squeeze from them? And shocker, when there's competition and Battlefield comes along and says, hey, we're not going to do it that way, people flood to it. I'm not even speaking about this as a sweaty player or as a content creator or as a streamer, even though I don't even stream. All of my friends hate Call of Duty. All of my friends refuse, I wouldn't say refuse, but they don't want to play Call of Duty with me. It's because of how strict the skill-based matchmaking is. It's how inhuman the matchmaking is. How much they just want to milk your retention, your player time. Like, there's a reason that, like, it almost blows my mind. Unanimously, like, all 7 to 8 of my closer friends play Battlefield, play Arc Raiders, and they hate Call of Duty. They're so burnt out on it. And it breaks my heart. It hurts me, because, like, I don't have my friends to play with. I can't play with my friends. So that's what I'll say. Put humans before data. It destroys the community, it destroys the creativity, and it destroys the soul of your game. When you make decisions purely based on tweaking all these levers and this data and this analytics and this algorithm, when you just make the game AI and robotic instead of about the players, about the people, about the human interaction in the game. I don't know where that disconnect has been, but like, this even goes back to casual mode, and I am going to mention casual mode a little bit in this video. I'm not going to go super hard on it, but like, why has your game gotten to a point to where we need to add AI robots to a game designed that humans are going to play? Yeah. Borderline, like, I keep saying borderline, but bottom line, period. I don't want to play against robots. That is not satisfying. I don't want to play with robots. That is not satisfying. That's all I'll say, though. Humans over data. Number 5 is better map updates. They have been consistently not putting out good maps. I think Rebirth and Verdansk are great as a foundation, but we cannot continue to rely on them and nostalgia bait them, right? Like, you got that surplus of players with Modern Warfare 2, the nostalgia bait. You got that surplus of players with Rebirth, the nostalgia bait. You got that surplus of players with Verdansk coming back, the nostalgia bait. But what you do after that is you always drop the ball. COD always drops the ball with these map updates. I understand that, like, I remember going back to, most recently, the Verdansk update. I respect and I appreciate that they wanted to bring back Verdansk and not touch it for a season or two and let people experience it as it was. Tomorrow, I'm literally going to be recording a video about, you know, playing OG Verdansk for the last time. I respect that they did that, but they took it way too far. They took it way... You cannot drop OG Verdansk and then just do nothing with it for the entire year. You can't do that. The map updates have not been enough. We need new POIs. So I think having Rebirth and Verdansk as a foundation is great. Those maps should never leave the game. Clearly, people love them. But we need new POIs every season or every other season. There needs to be new things happening to the map. And it also needs to be connected to a story. Don't just drop a new POI and bang. Like, we have this new POI coming out with Season 1 for the Black Ops 7 integration. It's reskinned. It's not new. But, like, during Cold War, there was a story for it, right? There was a reason that that factory was being built, or there was a reason that factory was there in the past. Whereas, like, now it's just like, hey, here's a factory in this random dome, like, satellite reconnaissance station in the middle of the map. Who knows why it's there? So, new POI updates connected to the story. When it comes to, like, I guess the last thing I'll say about Rebirth and Verdansk is we need reskins every year. I think that we should, in the easiest way to do this with the story would be, like, for example, with Black Ops 7, you reskin Rebirth and Verdansk to a 2035 version of those. We haven't been there. We haven't been to that time period with Verdansk or Rebirth Island yet. And it fits with the story easily. You reskin the map. It's brand new. It's refreshed. It's all clean and modernized and futurized. But instead, we're going with a winter drizzle over Rebirth Island. Like, blows my mind. That's the last thing I'll say about Rebirth Island and Verdansk. When it comes to new maps, color. I talked about this earlier. I don't want to play black and white, gray, yellow, brown maps. When I play a video game, I don't want to be depressed. That's one of the big reasons why people love Vandal. Vandal was so colorful and bright, and every POI was like this fun location. Like, you had a soccer stadium, you had a zoo, you had a museum, you had, like, buildings, rivers. Everything was bright and colorful and sunny. Didn't feel like I was playing this dreary, depressing, like, game all the time. Ashika Island, I know people love Ashika Island. I think it's one of the worst maps COD's ever put out for Warzone. I think it is the worst map Warzone, other than Al-Bagra Fortress, which was just an Al-Mazrah reskin. I think that Ashika Island was, from a format perspective and from a, like, how it was built, was bad. And then also layered on top of that, there was just gray, blue, brown, dark, clouds. Like, it was just depressing. I know I'm hitting hard on that, but I really, really, really think that, like, having the game be bright and happy and colorful and sunny is really important. Like, yes, you can bring out snow sometimes. You can bring out rain sometimes. You can do a night mode sometimes, but it can't be like that for months on end. It just can't. That brings me to the next point, which is weather cycle. I think a really cool way to keep maps fresh without having to, like, have 7 maps in the rotation is weather cycles or lighting cycles. And I understand that it's not as easy as that from a dev perspective. I could see how, like, for example, changing from sunset to sun midday could change. Like, you're gonna have to put a lot of dev hours into, like, lighting in certain corners in certain dark buildings. Like, I understand that it's not as simple as, like, just make rainfall from the sky or change the lighting. I understand that, but it's a lot easier to have that set up for Rebirth and Verdansk to cycle when we know those maps are going to stay. It's a lot easier to have that happen than it is to have 7 different maps in rotation and constantly build out these brand new maps. I think we should have sunny, sunset, night, rain, snow, all cycling all the time at different times. Like, we have, you know, the infill events on Rebirth. Why can't we have nighttime events or daytime events or sunrise or sunset event. Like, that's how you can keep things fresh. Rebirth, Verdansk, you have small, like one small, well thought out POI update every season, and then you cycle in different weather cycles as a foundation. That could keep those maps fresh for 5 years. Literally, it could keep those maps fresh forever. So that's what I got for map updates. The next thing I want to talk about is ending the mode bloat. I had a tweet go viral. Not viral, but kind of pop off. There were 4 casual modes, and again, I'm going to talk about casual a little bit, but I'm not necessarily, you can insert whatever word you want. But there were 4 casual modes, 4 listed above your core modes, which are normal Battle Royale and normal Resurgence. So that's Resurgence casual, solos and squads probably. You had Resurgence Zombies casual, probably solos and squads. Battle Royale casual, solos and squads. Battle Royale Zombies casual, solos and squads. Resurgence, solos, duos, trios, quads. Battle Royale, solos, duos, trios, quads. Plunder, Warzone Boot Camp, ranked mode. Like, just that alone, like just speaking that out loud, that's insane. That is so many modes that just split up the player base. I don't want to hit too hard on casual because I know that, like, my opinion for most people, they disagree with it, and I'm fine with that. But I'm gonna stick to my guns here. I'm okay with solos and squads casual. Like, I understand, like, people want to, you know, just come home and have fun. But when you have 16 of those, literally, not 16, 10 of those modes, when you have 10 casual modes, and all of them allow you to get your camos and your XP much easier and make the game much easier. Like, no crap. No duh. No one is going to go play Battle Royale solos. Again, this is a data versus human decision. Like, the human experience of winning a Battle Royale solos game, like, there is no feeling like that in the world. There's no feeling like that in the world. That should be hard. That's the point. That's the reason it's hard, because it's rewarding because it's hard. Like, the casual thing and the mode bloat is all about just how can we retain the most amount of people? But you don't realize that, like, you're making a long-term sacrifice for a short-term gain. Long-term sacrifice for a short-term gain. You're milking out all your players' money and retention, but then the game becomes lifeless. All the other modes become lifeless. I literally cannot find a Battle Royale solos game. And I would understand if it's, like, in the morning. But I can search for 20 minutes on a Saturday evening and not find anybody in solos. And part of that is because SBMM, right? Like, they're trying to find a game that's harder for me. Mode bloat is insane. Like, you gotta chill on how many modes there are. I think that is also fatiguing. There's just so much overstimulation. But that's just my opinion. I'm totally okay with being wrong on the casual thing in your eyes. Like, if you're watching this video, I don't hate casual mode. I don't want it to be removed from the game. I think the implementation of it is poor. The next thing I think everyone will agree with, and this is really relevant because this video is going up right before the BO7 integration. I do this for a living. I play COD, play Warzone, make videos for a living. I have a full-time, like, I do this all the time, full-time. There is no reason it should take me 5 to 6 hours to level up one weapon to a point to where it is usable. And that's okay for, like, for COD multiplayer, that's one thing. But for Warzone, when the meta is so important and it's pretty hard for the average person to level up weapons, like, this also goes into the mode bloat, the data over humans. You're using weapons to artificially increase retention. And you're making short-term gains for a long-term sacrifice. Like, yes, Warzone is going to drive sales to multiplayer. And I understand why they don't want to just give you all the weapons for free and give you all the attachments without leveling them up. Like, from a business perspective, I understand that. But when it takes me, a very good player who plays the game full-time, 6 hours to fully max out a weapon for Warzone, that's insane. That is insane. That is so much time. That's how much time the average casual player has to play in an entire week. They're going to level up one gun in an entire week. And I think that's relevant because it adds to why people play casual. It also adds to the burnout, the fatigue, why people play other games. I'm not saying that they need to give you all the attachments for free. Because like, it just, like from a business perspective, doesn't make sense. They may end up doing that with Blackout. I honestly think that would be a mistake. I think loadouts are really cool. But like the implementation of it, there's a line. You can't cross that line of, like, the guns shouldn't take 10 hours for people to max out. I only did my ARs, SMGs, LMGs, marksman rifles. And it took me 12 hours a day for a week, 2 weeks to do that. Min-maxing, finding, you know, the best way to do it in zombies. Like, it's just insane. It shouldn't be a full-time job to do that. And a good example of this is the MCU, Marvel. I'm a big Marvel fan, big Marvel nerd. As far as like the MCU goes, I don't read the comics or any of that stuff. But there's been a lot of Marvel fatigue too. And it's because they went super hard on the Disney Plus shows. And it felt like homework. Like all of my friends, my fiance, they don't want to sit there and watch, you know, 9 episodes of a show so then they can go watch the movie. Like, things shouldn't be homework. They shouldn't just be, like, squeezing out how many hours and how many subscriptions and how much money you can make. Like, make quality product first. Then ask for the money, right? Whereas, like, they're making a quantity product and asking for more money at the same time. It's a whole thing. If you watch the MCU, let me know down below. I'm super excited for Doomsday, but that's besides the point. So that was my 7th point. Number 8 is move faster. And I understand, like, from, like, I'm not a developer. I know, like, these things are very complicated. I have so much, and I'm not, like, being a shill here, but I have so much respect for people that make games because I have no idea where to even start with that kind of thing. Like, game development sounds so complicated. And especially when you're talking about, like, from a corporate perspective, you have Activision, you have all these studios, you have all these people, you have, you know, internet providers, hardware, console, crossplay, like, there are so many hands in the pie. It's insane. But, like, end of story, bottom line, period. You got to move faster. Fortnite runs laps around Call of Duty. Period. Period. No excuses. Like, Fortnite does their updates almost perfectly at a, like, 4 times the rate COD does, at Warzone does. Fortnite has better updates that are smoother, more quality at 4 times the rate. Like, there's definitely a balance between quality versus quantity, but when Fortnite's doing all of it, quality and quantity better, like, there's clearly a problem. Xbox bought COD and then fired a bunch of people. And yes, I understand from, like, a business perspective, like, if you look at someone like Elon Musk, takes over companies, fires a lot of people, streamlines, makes things simpler. There is a lot of bloat in, like, corporations and stuff. Like, you can probably accomplish a lot more with a lot less people. But, like, when you're talking about a video game and you just need dev time, dev hours, like, Xbox firing a bunch of people, it's just dumb. We're gonna get less content, less quality content. It's insane. And I'm talking out of my butt here, but, like, from a content creator's perspective, I have so many systems in place, and, like, the way I produce my content is so, like, yes, there is, like, an element of creativity and quality to it. There's also, like, the back end that's very systemized. And I think that, and again, I'm speaking out of my butt here. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But, like, there is clearly a difference between Fortnite and COD. And even COD and Battlefield. Like, COD has always been, like, yearly. Like, COD to Battlefield, like, there's Battlefield on the slow end of the spectrum, then there's Fortnite on the fast end of the spectrum. COD's probably, like, somewhere in the middle. But, like, these updates taking so long and being so poorly integrated it's just terrible for the game. Another thing, this will lead me into my next point, and it's kind of related to the moving faster thing, but I'll make it point number 9. Stop abandoning the game in Season 5. Free-to-play games are live service games. If you're going to make a live service game and pitch it as a live service game, be a live service game. That doesn't mean ditch the game for 7 months. 7 months is a stretch. Don't ditch the game for 4 months, 3 months. Because every year at Season 5, they go ghost and they start working on the next update. Like, why is there not a team that is working on the live version of the game? They abandon their entire player base for a quarter of the year, every single year on the regular. Season 5 comes out, they go radio silent, there's very little content, they're just running on fumes at the end of every year. That is not a recipe for success. You're gonna burn out your player base, you're gonna burn out your devs. Like, it's my thoughts on that. If you're gonna do live service, do live service. And I listened to someone said that it almost feels intentional. Like they do that on purpose to like drive sales to multiplayer. And it's just such a like, and maybe it's conspiracy, but it makes sense. And that'll lead me into my next point. But like, when you do these slimy, like shady things to drive retention and sales and data and analytics and metrics, like it's so inhuman and robotic that like humans are gonna get tired of that shit. Excuse my language. They're gonna get tired of it. They're fatigued. Sorry for my language. I hope you can tell I'm very passionate about this. And again, I want to reiterate, I don't know what it's like to make a game, but I'm just speaking from like a common sense, logical, very passionate player who has a lot of like I have a lot of data points because I do this for a living. I have a vested interest in like knowing what the audience likes, knowing what my community likes, what is the overall sentiment of the game, how do my friends feel about the game, how do other people feel about the game, how do casuals feel about the game, how do sweats feel about the game. Like I have a lot of data and anecdotal evidence to like support a lot of what I'm saying that like very few people have. Like developers don't have this data, normal players don't have this data. Like you guys can, and I really hate this narrative that's grown about like streamers and creators ruining the game. And I totally understand it. I think on one end, there's a lot of rage bait, like irresponsible rage bait from creators where they're like intentionally doing this. Like they're intentionally baiting out Battlefield players to hate streamers. And then it just like creates this narrative. And I promise you, like, I am not one of those people that is just serving my own interests. I don't play any other games. I only play COD. I don't play games off of like work. I love COD. I love doing this for the game. I love for the love of the game. Like, it's just frustrating. So I hope you understand my passion. Number 10 is going to be communication. I think that I have really loved, I think it's Matt Scrance from Treyarch, correct me if I'm wrong, has done a lot of dev talks, dev updates. I love that. But I think we should do that weekly or bi-weekly on a regular schedule, year-round. There should be a person or a group of people that are the front-facing faces of COD. I loved when we had, I don't want to like name names, but like I love when we had Ted for Raven Software. Like you could just feel the love for the game that Ted had, and how much he cared and how much he listened, especially from the creator's perspective. I don't get invited to many creator calls anymore for whatever reason, but when we would talk to Ted in the creator calls, like everybody just loved Ted because he was so authentic and genuine and passionate about the game. And he wanted to hear people's feedback. He wanted to hear our feedback. He wanted to hear players' feedback. And he was very open and honest about like why they could or couldn't do certain things. Communication is everything. Like, especially like, I mean, top of mind, like I'm getting married next year and my fiance focused a lot on communication. Like when you don't have communication, everything else falls apart. You feel like you're not being heard. And when you feel like you're constantly, consistently never being heard, it's very fatiguing. When you're not being heard, when the game's broken and they haven't said anything for 4 months about the game, it's fatiguing. Like the cheating situation has largely resolved itself. And I understand why they can't talk a lot about the cheating situation because like they don't want to give away sauce. But when you go months on end without years, when you go years on end, cheating was such a gigantic problem for so long. And they were radio silent. They didn't want to say a word. The communication's got to be better, because I think that communication and open and honesty buys you time to fix things. It helps people understand like the struggles that you're having to like develop certain things or combat, you know, bad actors like cheaters and stuff like that. So that's my overall thoughts on how to fix the fatigue issue. I'm sure I missed a ton of, there's a billion things that like are going to be in the comments, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But that's my hopefully respectful and honest 10 things I would do if I were a dev or a decision maker. Let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Really excited for Black Ops 7 integration. We're going to hit it really hard this year. So thanks for watching. Thanks for giving me your time. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.